Hi, this is Dr. Christine Zorad, and thank you so much for your interest in the process versus event health class. For your viewers at home, if you want to make a comment, go ahead and do that. There's a slight delay, so that if I don't get to your answer right away, it's because I didn't get it for a minute or so after you wrote it. So thanks. We're going to talk for a little bit, and then you're going to see a slideshow, and we'll go from there. Got it?
Okay.
Welcome, everybody. I'm excited. So I have some questions for you. First question is, who feels that their health is better now than it was 5 years ago? Yes?
Yeah.
Monique? Good. So what kind of choices or what action did you take to make that happen?
Diet, mainly, I think. I eat way better than I used to eat.
So diet. So you ate better just for a little while or for a long time?
For a long time.
For a long time.
Yeah.
Got it. So it's more part of the lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Anybody else? Yes?
I probably feel maybe the same or a little bit better.
Better.
Mm-hmm.
And what did you do to make a
Well,
difference?
diet change.
Diet.
Stay away from dairy products.
Dairies.
Dairy products really affected me.
Mhm.
Sinuses and digestion and all kinds of things. I feel so much better if I'm off dairy.
Good.
Just being aware of what I'm eating instead of just eating,
Good.
selecting better.
Right. So yours diet and yours is diet selecting better. So that's good. That's good. So if you didn't answer that you were healthier, I'm not looking at anyone in particular. So if you didn't answer that you were healthier, would it be safe to say that your health has either stayed still, or could we assume that maybe it has declined?
Mine fluctuates quite a bit. It always has.
Up and down.
Yeah.
Got
I know back then I was a lot more like active, and it's just kind of slowly gone down now that I have a full-time job.
Got it. So you used to be more active.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So the next question is, who plans or who expects that they're going to be healthier 5 years from now than they are today?
I would like to hope so.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. We'd like to hope so. That's good. That's a good thing. As opposed to assuming it's going to continue to decline.
Yeah.
So what kind of things that you could do, what kind of choices that could you make that would allow your health to grow over time in the next 5 years?
Planning your meals a
Yeah.
little bit better.
Meal planning.
Grocery shopping, making lists and getting the good stuff instead of going in there hungry and
Right.
grabbing everything. I've been guilty of that. But I do make lists now.
Good.
And certain recipes that are good for you, I get the list of things I'm supposed to get. And that kind of helps a lot.
Anything else? So we were talking about planning and food shopping.
There's certain grocery stores that have a lot better fruit and vegetables than others. And I stay with GMO.
So you'll eat more organic food in the next 5 years.
I hope to, if I can afford it.
Right. Yeah. Got it. Okay, cool. So, Joe, you can do the screen share now. You ready? Okay. So basically this presentation, we're going to be talking about, there's two different kinds of health models. One health model is the breakdown versus treatment model. And the other model for healing or health looks at lifestyle and choices that you can use to grow and develop your health over time. Okay, so that's kind of the stuff that we're going to be discussing. Did you screen share yet, Joe?
Can't find it.
It's the P. You have to do the screen share.
I did.
No, they're right there. The screen share, the little green arrow.
Okay.
There we go.
I did see that.
Okay, share. Okay, now we got it. Okay, sorry everybody. So, well, you can't see me now. That's a good thing. Okay, so sometimes it's not what you know, but it's what you think you know. It's what you don't know that isn't true that can be the problem. So I'm going to ask you a question here. Is a drought an event?
Yes.
Or is a drought a process?
Process.
It's a process. Is it one day without rain, or is it several days without rain?
Several.
Several days. Got it. How about a flood? Is a flood an event or is it a process? It is a process. I was thinking about this, and I was thinking about that when they released the water from the dam and then we had flooding here. That was kind of like an event for us because it came on suddenly. But the reason the water was all built up was because of the process of the rain, raining and raining and raining and raining. And they had to release that water so that the dam wouldn't break. It was unfortunate. But how about a fire? A fire, is that an event or a process?
It could be both, couldn't it?
It could be both. But normally, you have this emergency where you're dialing 911. So we kind of consider a fire more of an emergency. And one of the issues, and the reason we brought this up is because a lot of times people will let their health be one crisis after another. You've heard the expression about putting out fires, one fire after another. You have one health thing, you go as an emergency, you take care of it, time goes by, you have another thing, you go take care of it. And so it's symptom based. I have this symptom, I'm going to go see what's wrong with me. And you've probably met a lot of people who treat their health that way. It's one of the reasons the insurance costs are so much is because they don't take care of themselves and they end up in the emergency room if they don't have, regular care. How about headaches? Are headaches events? They come on when you don't have enough aspirin in your blood?
That's an event, I think. It happens
Or-
really fast.
Joe, what happened to my screen share?
I had a tension headache came out of nowhere. So that was an event for me.
But I feel like mine is like a process.
A process.
Wouldn't it be? Because mine was caused by something that I was doing over time.
Right.
Now that
So
I'm
I
not
guess it would
doing
depend
that-
on the cause. If it's muscle tension, it's inflammation from food allergies, if it's, poor diet, not taking care of yourself, being dehydrated, those types of things, even being constipated can give you headaches. Those things are a process. So the aspirin really doesn't take away the cause. It just treats the symptom. Okay, a broken wrist.
It's an event.
That's an event. So we have an event for an event here. So what happens when you break your wrist?
You cry.
You cry. Yeah, and then what happens?
Yeah, that's it.
Then you go to the doctor, and then what do?
You said it.
They set it, and they what?
Immobilize it.
Yeah, they cast it. Right. So how long does it take for it to feel better then after, you break it and you
8 weeks.
you cast it? Right.
It
Well, how long does
just
it take for it to
depends.
feel better? Like from, the initial break. Yeah, I guess it
Few
depends on the
days.
break. Yeah, a few days. Yeah, so after the swelling goes down, 2, 3, 4 days, something like that, it starts to feel better. So then when it feels better, can you just take off the cast and you're good to go? Why?
You have to mend.
It's got to mend. Yeah, so the healing is the process that takes time. So how long then does it take? You said 8 weeks. That's kind of average. It depends on, if we're looking at a 15-year-old kid who's got a green stick fracture compared to somebody who's 80 who has a compound fracture. I mean, that will determine how long it takes to actually heal that bone. But then you go to the doctor, and then they do like an exam to see if you're okay. So if everything looks good, then what do? Take the cast off. Great. So when they take the cast off, then you can just go resume all of your normal activities just like that.
No.
What happens? What do you have to do?
Slowly regroup your muscles in your
You have to
tendons
strengthen.
and strengthen yourself. You have to
Yeah.
slowly go at it.
Right. You have to strengthen and stabilize the area so that you can get back to your normal activity. So, and the reason I'm bringing this up is because in chiropractic, what we do, some people come in they have a problem, they have a pain. So they come in and then they get some adjustments and they start to feel better. And when you feel better, you're not necessarily done, because what happens if you need to strengthen and stabilize your spine, the muscles, the ligaments, in order to assure that it's not going to come back right away. So, and the people who choose to stay long enough to do the strengthening and the stabilizing, they often experience some side benefits from chiropractic, and some of them are They sleep better. They have more energy. They have better focus. They have better athletic performance. What are some of the other things that you've heard, Joyce?
Sometimes you don't have headaches anymore.
Yes, you don't have headaches.
Headaches.
Some other health problems that you had will start to disappear. With kids, sometimes it's, no more ear infections, no more, you can sit in the classroom easier. You're not so, wild and crazy zooming around, with ADD or ADHD or, those types
I
of
have some
things.
nephews that it's out of town. They went to chiropractic, and they were 5, 6 that had asthma, and
Mm-hmm.
it really helped.
It
the
really helps their asthma.
Almost gone.
Yeah, exactly. Another thing people talk about is, they're more loving in their relationships. What if you're quick to anger? And then getting your nerve system calmed down, you're not so angry anymore. What does that do for your relationships? It makes your relationships a lot better. So, and if you could get those side benefits, would you want to keep them?
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Yeah. So how is nature damaged? Is it damaged just by one oil spill, or is it a continuous pollution? Yeah. So our planet gets destroyed by it with the process. And we already had discussed that healthy eating is a process. There's a commercial for a drug. I don't remember the drug, but they're showing, could you get healthy by just eating one sprig of broccoli, doing one push-up? No, you don't do it with one. If you incorporate healthy eating as part of your lifestyle, then that's how you would, gain, the health benefits over time. So a sporting event, so let's say we have tickets to go see the Blue Jays or something. For us, that's an event because we're showing up and we're going to experience this game, that's on the floor. Isn't necessarily an event for those athletes.
No,
What is it for them?
it's a process.
It's a process. Exactly, because they've been training, they've been working out, they've been going to the gym, they've been going to practice. And so their game for them is a process of, okay, we're going to play this other team. And, Joe, you know what that's like too. You do all this training and then you go to a bike race, and the bike race is part of the process of why you've been doing all of, your training for over the course of time.
You get flat, you can't finish a race, and then you're sad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for bringing that up.
Yeah. So, do we exercise as an event? Or do we exercise as a process?
To see results, it has to be a process.
What?
I said to see results, it has to be.
It has to be a process. Yeah. So the people who join the gym in January, because it's January, and they stay until the middle of February and then they stop, are they treating exercise as an event or a process? As an event. Exactly. Having a healthy child is an event. I mean, having a baby is an event, but raising a healthy family is certainly a process. All processes take time. And so if you want to make your health a priority, choices you make today matter for how you feel tomorrow or what happens tomorrow. It's a journey. Health and happiness is a journey. So if I was to say I'm happy today. So what does that mean? That I'm going to be happy the rest of my life? No, because life happens and you have to continually work, continually to strive for excellence, to try and be better, do better. Process or event. This is a fun story about give a man a fish and he eats for a day. So feeding the homeless is really an event, right? You feed them, you give them food, and then they go on and they get hungry again. You teach a man to fish and then he can fish for himself. So then that becomes a finite process. But you still aren't done there. If you inspire that man to open up a chain of seafood restaurants, then that is a true process. That's a true process. And same thing with taking a walk. If you take a walk just one time, what is it? An event. If you take it to lose weight, then it's a finite process. But if you incorporate that walking into your lifestyle, let's say you go with your spouse, for instance, and that's something that you do together and you make it part of your lifestyle, and it allows you to experience something together and to grow together and to become closer together, then what's the real benefit of making that walking part of your lifestyle? You know, it helps you also to not only grow your health, but to grow your relationships. So to me, it's a contradiction. If we're going to talk about heart disease for a second, if we're told that heart disease is something that happens as a result of a process, then how are, you know, drugs and surgery going to make it better? It might keep you alive, but it's not going to fix how you got there. And the same is true with like bariatric surgery. You know, people who, you know, get the surgery because they, you know, have trouble losing weight, and if they don't do things to change how they look at food, how they view food, how they eat food, you know, their emotional, spiritual health, then they're going to get that surgery. And then what happens if they don't make changes? They're going to do the surgery, but what outcome will they have?
They'll lose skin.
They'll gain the weight back.
Stretch everything out and they start getting. I saw that before.
Right.
It's crazy.
So one of the reasons why we get told that, you know, if our experiences tell us that we lose our health as part of a process, but every time we have an issue, we get a pill or a potion or a lotion. You know, that's how that happens to us. We lose our health as a process, but if you have to give pills, potions, and lotions, then that's a contradiction, you know, to how you got there. And it's not how you're going to regain your health. And confusing process with event too. Better life through chemistry. How many drug ads have happy stories at the end when they tell you what it's good for, and then they spend, you know, 3/4 of the commercial telling you, you know, what the side effects are. So there's more and more drugs on the market, more and more side effects. And are we healthier as a society? No, we're not. We're not very high on the list in America for our health, overall health. Our trauma surgery is good. We're high on the list for trauma, but for overall managing regular diseases, we're not. We're not. So will doing more of the same make us healthier? No. It's a process. So setting an example. If you don't want your kids to take drugs to make them feel better when they feel bad, then we should set an example for them. And so one example that we could set, I mean, you've been to the drugstore and you've seen aisle after aisle after aisle of the over-the-counter medicines. There's something for everything. You know, there's something for their eyes, there's something for your ears, there's something for your head, there's something for your itch, there's something for, you know, everything. And because it's over the counter, it doesn't mean that it's safe. Because you can buy it doesn't mean that it's particularly safe. And what about those 4 cups of coffee that you have to have in the morning before anybody can talk to you? You know, what about those 3 glasses of wine you need to have at night before you can wind down at the end of your day? You know, what kind of example do we set, you know, for others if we have those kind of habits too? What about you come home from work and you bury your face into the, you know, TV because you don't want to communicate with the people that are around you? You know, we can use television as a drug too. So setting an example is about those things too, not just drugs, but some of our habits, which caffeine and alcohol certainly are drugs. And Einstein says you cannot solve problems with the same level of thinking that created them. And so if you think about today's health crisis, it's because we're treating our health as an event instead of looking at it as a process. So throwing more of that at it's not going to make it better. Okay, so here's the fun part. Would you rather be healthy or just not sick? Healthy.
Oh, sorry.
Would you rather be happy or just not sad?
Happy.
Yay! Would you rather be wealthy or just not poor? Wealthy. Would you rather be intelligent or just not dumb?
Sorry.
Intelligent?
Mm-hmm.
Would you rather pursue the positive or just avoid the negative?
Pursue.
pursue the positive. If all of this was true, if you really, in your heart of hearts, knew that this was true, we'd all be healthy, happy, wealthy, intelligent, and we'd all be pursuing the positive. So we don't always do these things. We say we want this stuff, but that's not how we always act. That's not how we always act. I think it's not working. Can you advance it for me?
Right now.
Okay. Thanks. What'd you do?
I can't look for questions.
Okay. Is sickness a process? Okay, we start out with basically our full health potential. I mean, barring, if your mom was healthy and she had a good pregnancy and she had good nerve energy during pregnancy and she ate well and, barring all those things, we're born with our full potential. Okay. And then we encounter stresses, either physical, chemical, or emotional. And if they go beyond our body's ability to adapt, then it causes some distortions in our nerve system. And then we have malfunctions in some of our body systems, sometimes one, sometimes more. Eventually that leads to disease and ultimately, of course, to death. Of course, all of us do die eventually.
Yeah.
Life leads to death, but this is kind of the sick model for what happens. And if you view health as an event, you have a symptom, you think that that's what's causing you to lose your health. You address that by doing some sort of medicine or surgery. And while you're taking a medicine to bring you comfort, doesn't make you healthy. If you're taking medicine for high blood pressure, does that make you healthy? It's just dealing with the symptom. It's not dealing with the cause. So if you look at health as a process, it's a different way to look at it. You look at the causes that cause your health to spiral down. You focus on the processes that you need to change. You focus on the things that need changed. And sometimes for the first time, then you have an opportunity to have your health step into a different direction. So here's where we're going to talk a little bit about chiropractic. And the big idea of chiropractic is that the body is self-healing. You don't have to think to breathe. You don't have to think to have your heart beat. You don't have to think to digest your food. And cuts don't heal faster in college graduates. And the other question is, cuts don't heal faster in college graduates because it's an innate intelligence. It's not an educated intelligence that has our healing. Got it? Okay. So the other question is, if you cut your skin, if you cut your muscle, or you cut a steak, which one's going to heal? Your muscle. And that's because we have life in our bodies, and the steak doesn't have life in our bodies. So that's what we're dealing with when you're talking about healing energy. That's what we're dealing with. That innate intelligence has to do with our life energy. And in chiropractic, that intelligence or that innate has a propensity for the nervous system, and that's what the adjustment does. When we do the adjustment, that's one of the things that goes along with the adjustment and helping the nerve system is getting that innate everywhere it needs to go. Unblocking that communication. So spinal misalignments cause more nerve disturbance, and then you get into this downward spiral. More muscle dysfunction, more nerve dysfunction. So the adjustment then can be sometimes, for some people, the first thing will help you get your health moving in the right direction. I consider it a gift. It's my passion. It's what I have to offer to help people, to help society, to help families, to help people be healthier and happier. And it's a process. So one adjustment and you're good to go forever. I'd have to charge a heck of a lot more money, I think. If I had a magic wand, that would be awesome. But it can add years to your life and life to your years. So now that you know, your job is to tell somebody. And this one's cool because it says, the staff and I met, which is me and Joe, The staff and I met, and you guys get a 10. So the other thing is what I would like you to not treat coming to this class as an event. I would like you to look at it more as a process so that you can continue to educate. I'm going to be doing classes at least once or twice a month, and I have a different thing that I can do each time. So if you can treat your education as a process and not an event, that will also help you move your health into the right direction. Because there is no finish line. Thanks. So we're done with the presentation. Thanks,
Let's see
everybody.
if there's any questions.
Yeah, okay.